Cardano is expecting the launch of USDM, a premier fiat-backed stablecoin, into the Cardano ecosystem in no more than 48 hours. Now, the team has just released their fee structure, highlighting exactly how much it costs to mint, which will definitely surprise you in how much it costs to burn. As a part of today's video, I want to talk about that as well as integrations once they actually launch. What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here for Reed. As a part of today's video, we've got the official release of the fee structure and who exactly can mint and burn when it comes to USDM, a fiat-backed stablecoin being launched by the Mehen team in collaboration with Charlie 3, operating as their oracle for verifying their reserves. Now, I've got a couple of other videos. I'll leave the links to them down below. As always, if you guys do enjoy updates like these, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by, you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me surrounding USDM or Cardano in general, then as always, make sure to leave a comment down below. Jumping right on in, we've got 2 days remaining. So this update will be pretty quick, but this is going to break down the fee structure and exactly what minimums are allowed to be minted and burned. So as it states here, with the fee structure, the team will be allowing people to mint USDM for completely free. Yes, that's correct. No fees being charged at all in order to mint the fiat-backed stablecoin. In order to burn USDM or in order to redeem it, there will be a minor fee of 1.5%. And the minimum burn fee, or the minimum burn amount, I should say, is $50 or 50 USDM, whereas the maximum is 5,000. So the upper limit, a lot less than I personally would have expected, but the team wants to make sure that the peg for USDM holds tight, and that's why they're limiting the amount that you can actually burn in one single transaction. Now, it states here, in the future, we may add more convenience features that could raise or lower these fees, and we're dedicated to keeping low fees for now to ensure a tight peg band. The next thing I want to jump into is who can actually mint at launch. If you watched any of my prior updates, the team had mentioned that they were working very hard to adopt institutional investors early on for their launch on March 16th. However, they weren't exactly sure if they would have all of the infrastructure and regulatory hurdles in place to allow for traditional or retail investors. However, that should be coming down the pipes in days, if not weeks. So it states here that minting is open to businesses, organizations, or individuals looking to mint at least 10,000 USDM. I'm going to jump over into DJED in just a minute to kind of compare some of the fees and some of the minimum minting amounts when it comes to that compared to USDM. Now, businesses must undergo a more thorough KYB process, or know your business process, expected to take at least 1 to 2 days. So if you're a business or you know somebody who wants to mint USDM, now would be the time to jump in there and activate or complete your KYC that we can begin to mint as soon as the product goes live. Now, scrolling down, individuals can mint at Mehen.io. I'll leave the link to that down below, and that should be enabled on March 16th. So it looks like with respect to who can actually mint, the retail investors can go ahead and do so, and businesses can do so as well after they undergo KYB. And I believe regular retail will still have to undergo KYC in order to mint. Now, if you don't want to undergo either one of those two options, you can just wait for other people to mint it, bring it on chain, and then swap for it on a particular DEX. Now, in terms of how the team actually determines their fees, it states here that their primary reason for fees is not for that to act as revenue. So we start with the presumption that the primary revenue source for USDM is interest earned on the USDM reserve, not the actual fees. Now, this is just speculation for me, but I assume that the team from USDM will be earning a portion based off of what they have deposited at their bank or at the bank that they're dealing with. And so that'll be the main way that they're able to make revenue and keep upgrades coming to the project. Now, it states here that any USDM that's minted will earn interest on the USDM reserve, and at 5%, a 1,000 USDM mint will cover the cost for KYC in about a month. Now, in addition to that, USDM that's redeemed does cost the team money. So that's where the 1.5% fee comes in when you're burning or off-ramping USDM. So for that, they do need to pay bank wires, and that's where the $50 minimum redemption fee comes from. The very last thing I want to talk about is, will these fees change? So the minting and burning fees are subject to change when we open, that's the USDM team, opens up to retail and introduces new convenience features and forms of payments. Again, they've mentioned ACH in times prior, and it states that as the reserves grow, the team will be less and less dependent on those fees to cover costs. So let's go ahead as the community and get those reserves up. So in closing of the fee structure, again, it's completely free to mint, 1.5% to burn with a $50 minimum and a $5,000 maximum. Now, as it stands right now, I don't believe that retail users will be able to mint on March 16th, even though it did mention to KYC at Mehen. I believe that is for single institutional investors. So you've got the business side of things, but you've also got the institutional investor side of things, and we're still waiting on retail to come live. Now, the next thing I want to jump into are just some comparisons, but then also some updates surrounding integrations into Liquid, LenFi, and Indigo. So jumping right back in here, if we visit the official DJED website, they've got a minimum mint amount of 200 DJED with a fee of about half of an ADA. Now, keep in mind that on DJED, that fee is in both directions. Now, I'm going to be sitting down with the DJED team in just a couple of days. If you have any questions about DJED, make sure you leave a comment down below. Jumping into integrations, if you guys don't recall, this is just serving as a reminder. We saw the USDM asset being added as a borrowable asset on LenFi. This vote took place back on November 24th of 2023. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I also saw a proposal to add USDM as collateral as well, which I believe did also pass. However, I was not able to find it utilizing the LenFi portal. But I believe that USDM will be supported in both directions. So if you hold USDM and you want to go ahead and earn from it, you can provide it as a borrowable asset to the protocol. Or if you want to borrow USDM, you can go ahead and do that utilizing the LenFi protocol. Next, we've got the Indigo protocol adopting USDM as collateral as well. So this temp check was released by BlockChalk, member from the actual team, and overwhelming support for this integration to allow for people to mint assets utilizing USDM. Right now, I believe you can use ADA, and that's just about it. So this would offer more variety to the Indigo protocol and make it easier for anybody holding a stablecoin to also begin minting an asset. Now, scrolling down, there is a brief snippet here from Eric, the founder of the Indigo protocol, highlighting that he is very opportunistic to add USDM as a collateral asset. However, he wants to confirm that USDM is adopted and that it has enough liquidity in order to make it possible to create an asset utilizing USDM. So it reads here, I personally feel that we need a bit more patience here, and we need to see what kind of adoption and liquidity USDM gets before we make any significant updates to the Indigo protocol. That said, it would look to be the most likely viable alternative collateral asset aside from ADA. Now, in closing, I understand that there is a phased approach to Mehen or USDM's release strategy in various markets, which would align well with Indigo given that V2 is nearing its launch in the coming weeks. Just to catch you up, Indigo V2 will be launching, I believe, in about 2 months. And as it stands right now, they don't have support for USDM, so it would require for them to do a little bit more work. However, I believe a lot of the functionality would be there for them to add additional collateral assets. So it's important to note here, and this is Eric again, that V2 does not currently have USDM factored into its specs, and it will require additional development work towards enabling it. Lastly, I would love to revisit this sometime in the next quarter or so after Indigo V2 and Mehen USDM's MVP launches and have proven successful. So it sounds like the Indigo team is open to adding USDM as a brand new form of collateral, given its adoption and given how much liquidity there actually is. The very last thing I wanted to touch on here was LQ or Liquid, which they have an ongoing discussion in their Discord into allowing USDM into their markets, again, either as collateral or a borrowable asset. So the USDM team continues to be hard at work. We've got 2 days remaining until we get the official launch here on the mainnet, and I'm extremely excited, which again, I want to provide you guys with this brief update touching on their fee structure and exactly who can mint on the launch date. That said, that will do it here for today's video. As always, if you enjoyed content like this, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me, then as always, leave a comment down below. That said, I'll see you guys in the next video.